Today I want us to go through routing in Next.js. I will start with introducing the routing, and then go ahead to navigate between pages using the navbar, and then the dynamic routing, and then linking between pages. So for this code that you are seeing here, this is the last code from the last video. So basically what I've just done to this code, I've just removed some of the JSX in the home page, and then some of the font families in my layout. So the only thing remained in the layout is the metadata, which is actually an object. This was introduced in the latest Next.js app router, and it is used to define metadata for a specific page. So when you go to this page, and then you can go to the top of your tab, you will see this title. So you can define a title and description and other information for a specific page. So then below it we have the root layout, where we have the HTML and then the body, and then the children prop being rendered. So for the layout, so actually a layout is a UI that is shared between multiple pages. So it can be shared between multiple pages, or you can have multiple layouts for different pages. So it's actually shared between multiple pages. So inside here you can see we have the children. So so it accepts the children prop, which can be a page or even another layout. So so inside the root layout, you will realize that you will realize that on navigation, the layouts preserve a state, and it also remains interactive. At the same time, it does not re-render. So in an event that I have a navbar here and the footer, when I navigate between pages by clicking on the navbar links, it does not re-render the navbar or even the footer, but it maintains the state. All right. So now, so we have the page here, so which is our home page. So so in Next.js, folders are used to define the route segments, and those route segments map into URL segments. We also have files. For example, this page, and also maybe this layout are used to create UI that is shown for a segment. For example, I'll come to my app, I will create a folder here. I can call it contact in small letters, and then now inside this contact I will create a file known as page.js. So this is this was introduced, by the way, in Next.js app router version 13. So you can see here, so this one will now be taken as a route. For example, when you go to your browser and then you go and say, sorry for that, let me first create something inside, RFC, and then let me just call this one contact. So when you come here and then you go and say slash contact, it will now display, it will now render what is in the page.js. So that's how we define the routing in Next.js. So so remember, the name of the component can be any. You can name it page, you can name it, for me it's a contact, I can name it contact, and it is still okay. So if I want to create another one, I'll just come below it, create a new one. I can call it blog, blog, and then inside it you need to create what we call a page again, page.js. You can see that. So again, I can generate some random data here, and then I can call it blog. So again, in your routing, you can come and say /blog. You can see that. So that's how you can define the normal routing in Next.js. So what I did talk about is a folder is used to define the route segments that map the URL into segments. And then we have the files, which is this pages, page.js, and then this page.js. I used to create UI that can be visible by the user. So when you go and say /blog, inside it, it will look for the page.js and then it will display. All right. So now that I can be able to create some of the some few pages, which is these 2 pages, I can now create a navbar so that I can render inside my layout. So before I create that one in my layout, I can create components folder inside the source, and these components I will create the navbar.js, and then I will also create a footer. So I'm just trying to separate, to subdivide my my components for ease of understanding. So I'll now come copy a simple navbar here. Let me just copy. So this is a navbar. I'll paste it here, and then again I will copy my simple footer here. This way. Okay, let me just correct some of these minor errors. Okay, let me just remove this. Some of this. I don't want to do a lot of things here. I think this one is okay. So now, after doing all this, let me now go back to my layout. So in my layout now, I will import the navbar, and then I render it. So this is how you import items components in Next.js. So you use apt, which means all that is in source folder, and then the components folder, and then navbar. Same thing with footer. So I'll have my navbar on top of children, which means on top of any page, and then I'll have footer below any page. So when you go and check now how my page looks like, you'll realize that we have the navbar here, and then we have the footer here. So in between, we will have the page that you are in. For now, we are in blog. When I go to navigate to home, you'll realize that we now have home. So for you to make all pages be uniform, maybe you can have one height for all the pages, but for now let me just leave it at this point. Now I want to navigate. When I click on one file, when I click on these links, for example home, it will take me home. When I click on blog, it will take me to blog, and also when I click on contact, it will take me to the contact page. So let me go back, go to navbar. So now navigating between routing in Next.js, and while you are navigating between pages, you need to use what we call link, but not link to the way we did in React. Here we do link href. So for example, this one I'll say link, which is imported from next/link href, and then I'll just pass /. And then for here again, I'll close it, and then I'll say home. For the second one, I'll say link, and then I'll say /blog, and then after /blog, I'll pass blog here, and then link, and then link href/contact, and then here again I'll say contact, and then link. You can see that, right? So when I click on each of these, either of these, it will take me to their respective page. For example, home, it will take me home. Blog, it will take me to blog. Contact, it will take me to contact. All right? So that's how you can navigate between your pages. Now, you'll realize that it is not rendering the navbar and the footer. It is already rendered. So it is kept in that state by the routing in Next.js. Now, now that I've done the navigation, what about the dynamic routes? For example, in blog, when I click on a single blog, it should go and navigate to maybe a blog number 12, and then display that blog, right? What about doing that? So for you to do that, you just need to go to where I have blog, and then inside here, to do what we call dynamic routing, we use what we call square brackets, right? So you just create it as a normal folder, and then you pass what you want to name that dynamic route. It's like a variable kind. So for example, I'll call this one blog_id. You can see that. And then inside this one now, you also need to create the page.js. All right. And then I will just generate some random component. So now, when you go to this, to our app again, refresh it, you can see it is now displaying something. So inside here, if you want to display this block ID, it is very simple. You first receive it as params, and then inside here, you can display it as params.blog_id. Alright, so as you can see, what I did, I first went to the blog, of which when you just navigate to blog, it will display this page. But if you want to do dynamic, you will create another one, which is inside the square brackets, which is a folder inside a square bracket. And then inside it, you have page.js, which is now a page for dynamic sites, right? So now, let me refresh this. You'll now see it's now displaying the ID that is actually passed here. I can even pass Kelvin. You can see it will show me Kelvin. So that one is okay now. Now, how can I navigate between these pages? For example, if I have a blog here, when I click on that blog, I mean, if I have a blog inside this blog page and I want to navigate to this to a specific page for that specific blog, what do I do? So what you just need to do, first of all, I'll just go to the blog, which is this page, this one, which is for the blog, this one. Inside here, I'll just define a simple posts, title, content. I I am just trying to define some random information. I just would need to, and then let me just close this, and then let me render them inside here. So I'll just call this one blog. Let me just create an h1, and then I call it blog, and then I'll just say post.map, and then you pass the key, and then post.title this way. So when you come and check it, you can see we have the first blog here, and then the second blog. Let me just pass a class name here, class name, and then let me just pass border, and then padding 4, and then margin 6, something like this. You can see this one and this one. So when I click on individual, it should take me to the dynamic route, and then now here it will pass the title of that page, and then inside here it will now display it. All right, or it can search it from the data that you have it, and then it will display it. So what I will do here, I'll just come for this div, I will change it to link. All right, link, which is imported from next link. Here again, I'll just call it link, and then I'll say href, of course, and then is equals to, we use the curly brackets. The reason we're using curly brackets is because it contains some variables, right, which is a dynamic routes. So what I'll pass the backticks, and then I'll say /blog. I can just say /blog, and then now the dynamic route. So I'll just say and, which is $, curly brackets, and then I can say post dot title. I can just use title as our dynamic value. So I'll just say post dot title. So it will be /blog/ the title of that specific blog. So when I come here, click on blog, click on a specific blog. Let me just refresh. Click on a specific blog. You can see hello world. For this one again, second post. So you can see it is now working. The only problem I have, it is because of this styling does not apply to the link. Let me just pass this div. I'm just trying to create a div inside the link so that it can display in a nice way, like this. You can see, right? Okay, so now when a user clicks on this, it will take the user to another page, which is now this block ID inside here, and then now it will display that title that you did pass, or anything that you did pass. So for example, when I click on this, or even when I hover, you can see just below bottom left, you can see we have localhost 3000 /blog /second post. For the first one, it is blog /hello world. So when I click on the first one, you can see it will say hello world, and you can see hello world here. And then for the second one, you can see second post. You can also see second post here. So that's how you can do routing in Next.js.